this is Munson with Munson Music. I'm going to talk about how you can play a song by the Fleetwoods called Come Softly to Me. And it starts out with this cool little a cappella intro, actually. We'll end up kind of capoing this on first fret to match the recording. But we'll kind of work through a couple things in root position. And it starts off with this cool little a cappella intro. And if you wanted to back that up with chords, you could start on a C major chord. And we play C major. First finger goes to the B string on the first fret. Second finger on the D string, second fret, and third finger on the A string, third fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major chord, and it sounds really happy. Now, while you're on C's in general, it can also be kind of cool to lift off the first finger and make that a C major 7, or you could add in the pinky on the B string, third fret, and kind of make that a C major 9. And then from the C on the intro, we kind of go to an A minor chord. We play A minor. First finger stays on the B string, first fret. Second finger on the D, second fret. Third finger on the G string, second fret. And if you strum all those together, it sounds an A minor chord, and it sounds really, really sick. And then from the A minor, we move into a D minor chord. We play D minor. First finger goes to high E on the first fret. Second finger on the G string, second fret. And third or fourth finger on the B string, third fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D minor chord, and it sounds really, really sad. And then from the D minor, we go into a G major chord. We play G major. First finger goes to the A on the second fret. Second finger on the low E, third fret. Third finger on the high E string, third fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now, you may also want to think about putting the third finger on the B string, third pinky on the high E string, third. And that might make it a little bit easier to make that D minor to G change, kind of leaving the third finger in one place. And through that part, you may just want to do downs through that part. Kind of C, da, 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 C, A minor, A minor, D minor, D minor, G major, G major. Or if you want to fill up that time, you could use a strum pattern. And you could even kind of work this as kind of an 8-down idea, kind of a C, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, C. And I'm doing a little bit of right hand beating to make that a little bit sneaky. So that may be kind of a cool way to kind of intro the tune too. A minor, D minor, D minor, G, G. Or one of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 like this is down, down, up, up, down, up. So if you took the C and tried that a lot, you'd have down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 down. So we tried that through the intro progression. You'd have the C, A minor, A minor, D minor, D minor, G, G. Or something else that I like to add to a song like this too is bass notes. And a lot of times on that first down of the down, down, up, up, down, up, you can throw in a bass for the chord. So on the C, you'd have the A for the bass. On the A minor, you'd have the A for the bass. On the D minor, you'd have D for the bass. On the G, you'd have low E for the bass. So you'd have the C with an A bass, C with an A bass, A minor with an A bass, A minor with an A bass, D minor D bass, D minor with D bass, G with low E bass, G with low E bass. There are really cool bass lines that kind of happen around those chords through the song, though. If you wanted to, you could even use the bass line for an intro and kind of start out with kind of the C chord and kind of play the A, D, and G string in that. So you're playing an E, C, E, G, C, E, G. And then for the A minor, you could play open A, third on the A, and then second fret on the D. So it's kind of a little A, C, E, or O, 3, 2 for the A minor. And then you could kind of take that idea and work it for the D string by playing open D, third on the D, second on the G. So kind of a D, F, A, D, F, A idea. And then on the G chord, you could play the low E string, and then the A string, and then the D string, kind of working a G, B, D, G, B, D, kind of an idea. So you could kind of work that too. It's kind of the intro, kind of the C, A minor, D minor, G. And then from that intro, then we'll be going into our main verse progression. And there's really like a really easy way to do this, and then I was kind of digging on kind of mixing up the chords a little bit. But one easy way to do it is to kind of think of it as a C for 4 beats, or 4 measures, and then G for 4 measures. So if we tried it that way, you could have the C with the downs, C, 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 G, 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 or you could try that with a down, down, up, down, up, C, 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 kind of cool to mix up those other chords into it. And actually what I was kind of digging on is taking the C and doing a down, down of the strum pattern, and then going to the A minor for the up, up, down, up. Kind of dig on that. So it's kind of halving the chords with the strum pattern. Kind of a C, down, up, down, C on the down, down, up, down, C on the down, down, up, down, C on the down, down, up, down. It's kind of like a little C lick. And then for the G, you could do a D minor to the G, and kind of the same way, kind of D minor, down, and then G with the up, down. So you have D minor, down, G on the up, down, D minor, down, G on the up, down, and D minor, G, D minor, G, C, A minor, C, A minor, C, A minor, C, A minor, D minor, G, D minor, G, D minor, G, D minor, G. And if you wanted to, you could even throw bass notes in with that. And kind of have that C with the bass, down, A minor with the up, down. We can kind of work it out that way. Kind of add in a couple basses to it. C, A minor, C, A minor, D minor, G, D minor, G, D minor, G, D minor, G. And over that D minor G, there's this cool little arpeggio if you wanted to kind of follow those notes. You go 5th fret on the G string, 6th fret on the B string, and then 5th fret on the high E string is kind of like a little G, B, E idea. And so it's like a little arpeggio, actually. This is a little D minor chord. And we do that one time, kind of that 7, 6, 5. But then you could kind of take the pinky and add it in on the high E on the 7th fret, and then kind of work that. And that's almost like a little G7 chord. It's kind of a D minor, G idea. And then from there we go to kind of the 3rd fret mini bar over the E and the B. So you can figure out the G string on the 4th fret for kind of a little G, B, E idea. And then you can take the pinky and add it in on the high E 5th fret to kind of work those notes. So now it's kind of like a little G to G major chord to kind of a G major 9, kind of an idea. So B, D, G, B, D, A. So you couldn't even kind of work that if you're kind of digging on that for the lead part. Now the weird part is to play along with the Fleetwoods though, instead of starting on a C major chord, they're starting on a D flat major chord. So to play along with the recording, what you want to do is take a capo, and if you put the capo on 1st fret, then now your C is really a D flat major, and your A minor is really a B flat minor, and your D minor is really an E flat minor, and your G is really an A flat major. So we took it from the beginning. You could kind of work that just down idea through that intro part, kind of working that C, A minor, A minor, D minor, D minor, G, G, or you could use the down idea, kind of that C, C, A minor, or you could do the down, down, up, down, right? main verse chorus. And you could think of it as just kind of that 4 C's, 4 G idea, kind of C, C, or the down, down, up, up, down, C, C, G, 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 or you could add basses to that, C and A bass, C and A bass, C and A bass, mix it up with that A minor idea, kind of work that as the halving idea. C, D minor, G, D minor, G, D minor, G, D minor, G, C, A minor, C, or fourth, when you get to that D minor, G idea, you could throw in those lead parts. And this is a little weird because now instead of being 5, 6, 7, you're really on 8, 7, 6, which is a little weird because of the capo. But, so you have to kind of think +1 fret and everything we talked about there. But that might be kind of a cool thing to throw into. Kind of work on that one too. Just repeating that through the rest of the song. And I think at the very end I'd come play a big C major chord just to make people clap. But that's the basics of how you get strummed through Come Softly to Me by the Fleetwoods. So good luck!